I'll get my car.
I brought mine.
Yours? I gotta get me one of those.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bat Dan's Discussions. And it's here, the moment we finally have been waiting for. It is the big lawsuit. Finally happened. No more talk. And I'm really excited to talk about this tonight. And please welcome as I bring on Smackey to discuss this. How are you, man?
Hey, man, I'm making everybody wait. I was in Atlanta's famous traffic. And also, I just want to say I'm sorry for not having my cam. I found out over the weekend it was causing some issues with the microphone, but I did order a Blue Yeti that was like 60% off. So it should be here like Tuesday.
No problem, man. No problem. I mean, hey, Curly Ray's been on my channel all the time without a camera on, so... In fact, wait, I saw Curly Ray on here, and...
It's up to the frog.
Hold on. And Rebel Moon Theory. Oh, yeah, I think your avatar looks like a frog, is what he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it's a shout out to Mitch Hedberg. Or, not a shout out, but an homage. Mitch Hedberg was my favorite comedian. Well, he still is, but he's my favorite dead comedian. And he had a joke that was like, in England, they don't have Smokey the Bear, they have Smackey the Frog. And it's a whole thing. Yeah.
Wait, what? Sid Havoc, really? We're blaming me? Wow. Okay. What are we blaming me for exactly? But anyway, we'll see. I'm sure Sid Havoc will come in here with more of his theories, but before we get into the fun stuff, there is something we have to talk about. Sam Neill.
The GOAT.
Jurassic Park. Passed away at age 78 due to pneumonia. I guess, Smackey, what's your history with the Jurassic Park franchise and other projects that Sam Neill's been in?
I'll be honest, like, I'm not like the world's biggest Jurassic Park fan, but I like him in it. He's like my favorite character. And I was really happy when he came back in 3. Because again, he was my favorite, and then I thought 3 was going to be more sort of like horror themed. And
which 3 are you talking about, by the way? Because he comes back in Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World 3.
Still haven't seen Jurassic World 3. I kind of refuse.
Fair enough. So you're talking Jurassic Park 3 then. Okay.
Yeah. And I kind of like that movie. I don't like the ending too much. But everything up to the ending I dig. It's just, I don't know. But otherwise, like, yeah, I've loved him in like every other movie, and I love that he's just like this incredibly charming and like wonderful down to earth person in real life, and he's just always great to fans. And it was just like when he died, everybody just had this really wonderful story that they had to tell about how he was just the sweetest man.
Yeah, I never really got a chance to meet him at a convention or anything, but I really loved his character as Alan Grant in Jurassic Park. He is such a good actor. He was such a great actor in those movies, and his character was one who actually pointed out the bird connection to the dinosaurs. Like, a little off topic, but don't you feel like the theropods in Jurassic Park should have had feathers?
Yes. I kind of that's a little pet peeve of mine. If they were going to bring it up, they should have done it.
Yes, thank you. I am glad to hear that. In fact, that's why I think, see, if Jurassic Park really wanted to like make money, or if they want to make more money off Jurassic Park, what they should do is do a remastered of the original Jurassic Park and have them all with feathers.
Mm-hmm.
So
I haven't read the book. Did they do the feathers in the book?
I don't know. I just know Steven Spielberg didn't think feathers would be intimidating, but I've seen YouTubers do feathers and they looked very intimidating. But
Tyrannosaurus, like one of the most like intimidating dinosaurs ever, and it's got feathers.
Okay, Trey. Okay, I'm sorry, Trey. I'm sorry. We'll drop it. Okay, yeah. Truth is, I wasn't even going to use the feathers at all. But once I saw Trey in the chat, I'm like, okay, I got it. But I'm sure Sam Neill would have appreciated us joking around a little bit too. So, but yeah, I mean, I loved Jurassic Park as a kid. I loved those movies. The first one obviously is the best, and I enjoyed 3. I mean, 3 wasn't the best, but I still enjoy it. Like, a movie that isn't good, but you still enjoy it.
That's 3. For me, at least.
I know, Trey. I know, man. I know. Don't worry. But yeah, that's how I feel about 3 too. I mean, there's a lot of, just because like the effects aren't as good, but Alan Grant was good in both 1 and 3. I will say that. Like, his performance was phenomenal in both movies, and I love his genuine reaction to seeing the dinosaurs for the first time. And I love how like Alan Grant says something stupid. They move in herds. They do move in herds. It may seem kind of like, really, you're saying something like that? But I mean, if you're seeing dinosaurs for the first time, you're going to react that way.
Yeah. No, I think like even as he's a doctor, like you're going to point out the obvious, seeing something that spectacular for the first time.
Absolutely. And regardless of how I think the Jurassic World franchise did, I am glad he came back for Jurassic World 3. Wasn't the best. I mean, it's not something I'm going to be like, oh, you should totally see that movie. But I'll say that Sam Neill did phenomenal in it. I have not, Curly Ray. And also, I've never seen The Hunt for Red October either.
I may have saw that when I was a kid. And see, I'm ashamed to even admit this because I'm such a huge horror fan. I've not seen Event Horizon, and I have not seen is it In the Mouth of Madness? Or the one
no idea.
He plays like an author. It's a John Carpenter film. It's like one of the unofficial trilogy because you had The Thing. God, I'm gonna feel so foolish because I'm such a huge John Carpenter fan. The Thing and oh god, dang it. Sutter. He plays Sutter Kane, I think. I can't remember. It's going to come to me later. But it's basically a Lovecraft movie.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I just haven't seen a lot of the other Sam Neill movies, but yeah. But I'm glad you sought to see him other projects. The only thing I seen him in, it was like some independent film. I think it was Sam Neill. But it was some new, because he was from New Zealand. It was some Austrian New Zealand film about, I don't remember. It was like some kid who had to be in foster care and he ran away from his parents. Like Sam Neill played the foster dad who didn't want him while the mom wanted him, but she passed away. It was something like that. I don't remember, but I think that was Sam Neill, and he did a good job in that film too. If I remember correctly, and that was him. And if not,
that sounds familiar.
I have not seen all the cartoons and serial DC talk because the series, it's very hit or miss if I watch the series, because if I miss one episode of cartoons and serial, then I'm behind all the other ones. So I haven't seen all of them, but still though, I love seeing him in Jurassic Park. He was such a great actor, and just, like I'm not like saying 78 is overly young, but it's still like a little too young to die still. Like it's like, I mean, not that death is great at any age, but still, it's just
pneumonia at that age is just so it can be so deadly.
I bet, yeah. I mean, I'm still in my 30s, so there's still a lot of stuff that I don't really think about yet, because if something like that happened to me, I'd recover fine, but
yeah.
Just...
he was in the last 2 Thor movies. Because he was Odin. He was playing the actor Odin.
Oh, yeah. In Loki's play.
Yeah, with Matt Damon.
Yeah, okay. Wait, Matt Damon and oh god, why did they have to be the last 2 Thor movies though? Why?
That's what I'm saying. Oh,
and I guess,
he was in the Zack Snyder movie.
He was?
He was in Legends of the Guardians.
Really?
He was,
Talk about the Owl movie.
Right, yeah.
Wait, really? Wait. Who did Sam Neill voice in the Guardians Zack Snyder movie? He voiced Alan Moore, the Gray Owl.
I forgot all about that.
I didn't know that. Wait, Alan Moore. Who was he again?
I think like when they get across the sea and they meet all the owls, he's one of them.
Oh no, he's the antagonist.
Oh, never mind then.
I never knew that. I guess it was supposed to be Hugh Jackman, but he was replaced by Sam Neill. So interesting. Wow, that's so cool. He was a movie directed by my favorite director.
Right?
Yes, and Havoc. I know. And Trey, are you still in the chat right now? Let me know, because Sam Neill does have another movie coming out, though. He's going to be in the new Godzilla movie.
Wait, not the Japanese one, but
yeah, not -0. Sorry, yeah, not that one.
I don't even know the name of the new one.
It's Godzilla Kong Supernova.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I might watch it for him.
Yeah, I'll watch it for him too, and I'll also watch it for Trey of the Bat Channel, because he's a good friend of mine, and I want to see his Godzilla content. But also, Godzilla's a mutated theropod, so technically speaking, shouldn't Godzilla have feathers?
You bring up a good point.
Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is an old comment. This is not Trey right now. But if Trey is in the chat, I'm just saying, hey, this guy agrees with me. This guy agrees with me right here. Godzilla should have feathers. Godzilla should have feathers. Hashtag give Godzilla feathers.
It beats have like pink energy or whatever it was. I didn't even.
So yeah, absolutely. But anyways, thank you, Sam Neill, for everything you've done for the memories you gave us with Jurassic Park and your other franchises, and we absolutely will see you in the new in Godzilla Kong Supernova. So thank you. And now a moment of silence for Sam Neill. Thank you, Sam Neill. Thank you. And now, onto some happier news. The Odyssey. Spoiler light. So what this means, guys, is that we will do our best to avoid spoilers. Nothing in the third act, but there may be some minor stuff in the first act and some really minor stuff in the second act. That's kind of how I think of spoiler light. Like, I don't really consider much in the first act spoilers, honestly, to me. I mean, but because like to me it's hard to completely discuss without getting into spoilers a little bit, but it's not going to be anything major, guys, so don't worry. If you haven't seen the movie, you don't need to leave. We're not gonna, and I'm not gonna do that thing where it's like, well, the play's been out or the poem's been out for 3,000 years, so like, no, I'm not even gonna do that loophole, because one, it's an adaptation, and two, I mean, I read that back in high school. I didn't remember how it ended, and so I can't tell you if it ended accurately to the poem or not. But I want to show this out real quickly. So, because a lot of people have been saying the Odyssey becomes Christopher Nolan's biggest global debut of all time with $264 million. The Odyssey is off to an epic start at the box office. Universal's action adventure generated $264.1 million globally over the weekend, including $139.6 million internationally and $124.5 million domestically. It's a towering debut for a movie that's R-rated, nearly 3 hours in length, and isn't part of a major franchise. Of course, The Odyssey is an original. It's adapted from Homer's roughly 3,000-year epic poem, but the film's initial success is a testament to Nolan's outsized popularity as a filmmaker. He's been a box office draw, having directed blockbusters like the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, Dunkirk, and Interstellar. But Nolan reached new levels of acclaim after 2023's Oppenheimer, became a box office behemoth, and won Oscar performance for Best Picture. And you know what? Actually, just an idea right now I had. There's another article I want to show right now, too, because I think this is also interesting. So
I know I've probably cussed on your channel before, and if I have, I apologize. But do you care if I cuss?
Oh, no, go ahead. And I'm not going to look for the article. That's going to take too much time that I'm not going to say. But anyway, what's your cuss?
Fuck the haters, man.
You know what?
Fuck the God.
Go on.
No, I'm just saying, because there were so many, and they're still doing it. They're doing it right now. There was some account I saw earlier, and I know I have a blue check now, but my blue check runs out soon, and I got it to get support because my account got suspended. But there was some blue check account that is just trying to say that, oh, this movie is like only doing successful because of Nolan Bros. And it's just like, at this point, they're the majority.
Mm-hmm.
And
people like Nolan.
Yeah, everybody likes Nolan. Like, what are you talking about? Like, everyone kept trying to say this movie is going to be too woke. It's going to be like, it's going to have this leftist agenda or this or that. And then it's just like, and then like one guy's like, yeah, this movie 18 hours ago, he tweeted, if this movie goes past 200 million, I'll delete my account. And it's just like, okay, man, you better delete it, because like, here we are. It's his biggest debut for a film yet.
And that's my thing. And first of all, to all the extreme anti-woke people who are upset, The Odyssey did well in the box office. Deal with it. But it's just like, to me, I saw the film. I didn't get any woke vibes from it at all. What? I mean, what? Because they had non-white people in the movie? So, like, if that's your issue, maybe that says more about you than it does Nolan. I'm just saying. Like, here's the thing. Like, if it was, like, constantly making it about their racial identity, sure, maybe you'd have a point, but it wasn't that. Nolan just casted good actors who played the role really, really well. Like, here's one minor thing that maybe I will give someone. But even that, honestly, I'm still going to counter. Elliot Page. I understand that back then, something like getting gender reassignment surgery would not have happened. Like, that's just, I don't think that would have happened back when the film took place. But honestly, Elliot Page did a really good job in that film. There is nothing in, like, because here's the thing. Elliot Page is an actor. Mm-hmm. There is nothing in that film that made me think the character he played got gender reassignment surgery. Because again, historical accuracy, that would not have happened. But the character did such a great job, or the actor did such a great job in that film that I didn't care at all.
Right.
I care about the actors first and foremost, and their acting abilities. That's what matters to me. I'm sorry, Smackey, you were going to say something?
Oh, no. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, it's just... And again, I hate that I have to talk about this on my channel, but I've been hearing all these stupid complaints about the movie before they even saw it. And it's just... I could go on my whole issue with the anti-woke crowd. Like, look, guys, there are stuff that I would say is woke that I stopped watching. Supergirl on CW. I stopped watching the last season because it got overly woke. That was woke. I will admit that. The Boys, Eric Kripke, the creator, said it was woke. So, yeah, I understand there's complaints out there. Fine. But the Odyssey is not that. Nolan just casted good actors, regardless of their race, regardless of their gender identity, regardless of any of that stuff. Nolan looked at the actor, and if the actor did a good job, Nolan casted them. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like, honestly, though, too, to be quite frank, despite all this gender and race swapping that people are bitching about, I still felt like the cast was predominantly white. So if you have an issue with any non-white people in that movie, maybe that says more about you than it does Nolan. I know I already said that, but I was really disturbed by this criticism, honestly, of the film. I really was.
I can think of like 3 non-white actors that stood out to me, and that's really about it. That's it. Yeah. Lupita.
And I don't.
And
I'll go on.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I can't remember the actor's name. I knew it last night, but like Odyssey is his second in command, and then there's also an Asian actor who's also like in his main force. And outside of that, if you want to count John Leguizamo, who killed it, by the way, he's one of the best fit. Like, there's not a bad performance in this film, regardless. So yeah, four POC actors in the film, if you want to say that. But yes, and to go back to your point about, like, if you want to say that there was no like gender reassignment surgery back then, like, sure, if they want to get mad about that, there were trans people back then. There's documented proof of that. There were gay people back then. And then if they want to get mad because it's like, oh, well, they didn't have men playing women or women playing men as far as acting goes, they sure as hell did. Go look at the Shakespearean plays. Go look at the Roman plays. They were doing that kind of stuff all the time. So you like, and these are people that are claiming to be like history buffs. They don't know what they're talking about whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because women were discriminated against, so men played the roles of women. Isn't that like what happened? Like Romeo and Juliet, for example, wasn't Juliet, despite being a female character, played by a man?
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
So, yeah, and I don't want to get too far into this because honestly, if we get too much further into this, we're going to spend the whole stream about this and and we're not going to get into anything else. So I think we beat the point to death right now, but I do want to say it one more time before we move on to other aspects of this movie, again, to the anti-woke crowd complaining about this movie, the I'm not racist but crowd, the Odyssey did well in the box office. Fucking deal with it.
Like, yeah, I need to
Also
go
did
back
well
and
in
watch
Greece.
Skies. Oh, I'm glad. I'm really glad.
Oh yeah, watch Sky's stream. Yeah, I need to watch that too. It just, yeah. So I think we beat that to death. But there is a criticism I do have of the movie, though, is that they left out a very iconic moment that I wasn't really happy about. And this is early enough in the movie, so that's why I say spoiler light. But the nobody scene. Do you know the nobody scene I'm talking about, Smackey?
No, I was talking with Cozy and Cam last night about the movie. I never got to read any of this stuff because I went to Christian school growing up. So, yeah, I never got to know anything about this.
Okay, fair. So I'll say it then. Like, this is one of the most iconic moments in the Odyssey, and I did read it in school. I don't remember a lot of it, but I do remember this moment. Basically, what happens is Odysseus, he pokes out the Cyclops asks for his name. Odysseus says his name is Nobody. That's what he says his name is.
Oh, okay.
He pokes out the Cyclops' eye, and the Cyclops says, "Nobody has blinded me."
You know what's funny is, have you watched the Jon Stewart interview with Christopher Nolan yet?
I have not.
So they, Jon Stewart or the Daily Show went and watched the movie like on Sunday, and he had like one of the staff members is like a huge Greek buff, and he said that his only complaint was that the exact same complaint is they don't have that joke in the movie. And Nolan was like, yeah, I tried to make it fit, but I just couldn't figure out how to do it in a way that worked. So he did try to make it in the film, but he couldn't.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Honestly, I'm still not a fan of that. I still feel like he could have made it work, but that is, I would say that was kind of my only real major criticism, because again, I'm not overly familiar with the story. I will admit that, but I do know that iconic moment, and I'm not overly familiar with Greek mythology. Like, I know some of it, but I'm not like don't quiz me on Greek mythology. I'm not going to pass. So that's why I'm not going to go too far into it. But I will say one actor who really stood out to me, and this person's really growing as an actor, in my opinion, is Tom Holland.
Yeah. The funny thing is like, I'll be the first to admit, like, I was not a huge fan of his at first because of Spider-Man, but like, he has grown on me so much that like I'm looking at him with new eyes, and especially because of this movie, this has really helped me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I also think, in my opinion, Spider-Man No Way Home was another good performance of his, but this one is even better. And I've always said there's a lot of actors who, in my opinion, they do better under certain directors. Gal Gadot, for example. I love her as Wonder Woman. I'm not going to lie and say she's one of my, I think she's one of the best actors out there. No, I'm definitely not going to say that. But under Zack Snyder, she does a really great job.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of the same with Tom Holland, is that he needs a good director to work with him. Because if he doesn't have that good director, I do feel like he does struggle a little bit more. Yes, and Havoc, I know, But yeah, I do think he's grown up a lot too. But what I really loved too was like both Matt Damon and Anne Hathaway. They both had really good chemistry together, despite barely being on screen together.
Yeah, it was really surprising. Like, especially at the very beginning, you could tell she was just absolutely distraught that he had to leave, and you know, I I don't want to give away too much, but just she everybody keeps saying it, but she's probably given the absolute best performance in the film, I think, besides Matt Damon.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think Anne Hathaway said in an interview somewhere that this was like one of the only times Nolan said perfect to her.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, she said it's like she had to go write it down in her journal. So I mean, I don't blame her. If he ever said that to me, I would be the same way. I'd be over the moon.
Yeah, especially it's Christopher Nolan saying that. Like, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. See, that's why like some people were concerned about like Tom Holland and Zendaya in the movie, and I'm like, I'm not really worried because Christopher Nolan cast them. Like Christopher Nolan has enough pull that if he did not want either of those two in the movie, he could have said no. So I trust Christopher Nolan's judgment. So I mean, Zendaya did well too. I mean, granted, some people say like she had like one facial expression, but for the direction of Zendaya's character, I think it worked. I'll just say that. Obviously, I don't want to say too much more, but I think for the direction of Zendaya's character, her performance worked.
I appreciate you not saying more too, because I wish I didn't know who she was before I went into the film, but like for whatever reason, they had like a late night interview like all over the timeline, and it like they even like typed it out, and that pissed me off.
Twitter is not good at that, but it was spoilers, honestly. But,
no, yeah, it is, and that's what annoys me is because like even though I grew up going to Christian school, like as soon as I got out, like I really got into like a lot of the different mythologies. It didn't matter if it was Greek, Norse. I even got into a little bit of the Cozy's going to kill me, but I think the Yoruba or basically the African one, because like I love Yamoja and Olaron and all of them, because I used to play Smite a ton, and it got me really interested into all of them. And this movie deals with a lot of the Greek gods so well. So, and that's another thing that sort of goes back to a lot of the haters was like they kept saying the Cyclops is just going to be a guy with one eye, or Charybdis is just going to be a whirlpool and all this other stuff. And it was just like none of that couldn't be further from the truth. And then the movie literally begins. This was the time of apparent magic, and it's like, to me, that's up there with mankind is introduced to the Superman, right? Like in terms of like one of the coolest intros to a movie you can have.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Which Man of Steel was also written by Nolan, so nice little parallel there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I'll admit, my favorite Disney movie, and I know this is not accurate to Greek mythology, guys. I'm well aware of that. But when I say Disney, I mean like true Disney, not like Marvel, Star Wars, because Disney owns like half the movie industry now. I mean like Disney. Is Hercules, believe it or not. I love Hades. James Wood says Hades. I love and I know that movie's an abomination of Greek mythology. I am well aware of that, but I still love it.
No, that growing up, that was my favorite Disney movie too. Danny DeVito, I can't remember what his character's name is. Phil, yeah, okay. And Meg, oh man, like yeah.
Even if Hera was not supposed to be a loving mom to Hercules, I'm aware, guys. I am aware. But another performance I really loved was Matt Damon. Like he did a really good job of playing like a good leader. A guy who really cared for his men.
Yeah, and this sort of goes back to the Jon Stewart interview. I really don't want to say too much, but if you can somehow watch Oppenheimer before you watch the Odyssey, you will draw a lot of parallels between the two.
Really, I might have to rewatch the Odyssey again, or rewatch Oppenheimer and the Odyssey. Interesting.
Jon Stewart. Well, he says something in the interview that throughout the Odyssey, I was getting the exact same feeling he was talking about, and it is I really don't want to say too much, but there are direct parallels between Oppenheimer and Odysseus, if you think about it.
Yeah, I kind of understand what you're talking about. I've seen some of that online actually, and again, I was kind of the same thing. I don't really want to say what it is because that could get into the spoiler territory, but yeah. So, yeah. So yeah, I don't want to say too much more. It's like it's hard, guys. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard to talk about this movie
Yeah.
without getting too far into spoilers. I mean, Robert Pattinson did good or did well, and
Oh, he's in.
which is funny because I know this channel doesn't really like a lot of people on this channel don't really like his Batman. But anyway, go on.
No, he is a proper. See you next Tuesday.
Oh yeah, and also one thing I will say, a worry I had with this movie, I'll say, is that one criticism I do have with Nolan in some of his movies is that sometimes I feel like he is confusing for the sake of being confusing, like Tenet. I feel like there was a lot of stuff in there. I'm like, you did not need to make it this confusing, like. And I was kind of like, that's why I'm not really a big fan of Tenet. To me, it's confusing for the sake of being confusing. And I didn't really feel like it served the story. Whereas the Odyssey, like the kind of not completely aligned timeline, I never got too confused by, and it made sense for the story. So I could follow the movie really well compared to some of his other movies.
Yeah, this one is a lot easier to follow. I think it's not as confusing as something like Memento or Tenet.
Or honestly, even Oppenheimer. Like Oppenheimer, I had to see twice to completely get it.
Yeah, this is a lot easier to digest, I think.
Which again, guys, I know we've been defending Nolan, but guess what? I can have criticisms of people, even Christopher Nolan. It does happen, guys. Believe it or not. But yeah, I do want to see this movie again. I don't know when I'm going to see it again. So that's why I'm not going to do a rating right now, because I kind of want to see it again before I finalize my rating. Because I want to do a spoiler review at some point. We'll see though, because it's a long movie and I'm a busy person. I mean, yesterday, I'll be honest, I drove to a further AMC theater than two that are closer to me, just so I could not only see it in IMAX, but get a good seat. Because the two AMCs that were decently close to me, they only had seats in like the first 3 rows. And I'm like, nope, not doing that. Not doing that. Like I had to find a big theater that was like luckily had a seat that I would get.
Now, what kind of IMAX do you have though?
I'll be honest. Whatever they had at the AMC. Okay, let's check my ticket actually. Let's see. What did the ticket say? I know it's not like true IMAX. I know that, but let's see. What did it say? Movie start time, yada yada yada. I thought it would say the type of IMAX it was. Okay, let's see. Well, what type of IMAX did you see it in?
Oh, mine's supposed to be 70 millimeter, but it's hard for me to know whether if it actually is or if they're just saying it was. But I will say that I saw the projectionist leaving the room before the movie started, and she was sweating buckets. So,
okay, the one I saw was a standard digital IMAX auditorium. It uses an IMAX Xenon projector system rather than the larger 70 millimeter film or dual laser setup. I mean, unfortunately, guys, this is kind of a situation how beggars can't be choosers.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's still going to look great.
I mean, yeah, it looked phenomenal. I mean, I normally don't go to AMC because it's just not what's close to me anymore. But the theater that's closest to me was just, I don't mind seeing most movies in this theater, but not a Nolan movie. Like, no, not the Odyssey. There was no chance I was gonna for that one. but I do like it for some of the smaller stuff. But yeah, I thought I really liked this movie, and to be honest, I think I've said everything I can say about this movie without getting into spoilers, because it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we kind of pushed it as it is. So, any final thoughts you want to say about this movie before we move on?
Fuck the haters.
Fuck the haters. And you know what? I know I said this twice, but I want to end it on this. The Odyssey is doing well in the box office. Fucking deal with it. But now, we've been waiting for this. California and 11 other states sue, which, I want to say something before I get into the article. I want to say something that Smackey said to me backstage after our last show, is that he said he didn't think about this till after the show ended, or he thought about it but didn't get a chance to say it. He said he felt the reason Oregon dropped out was because they were going to join this lawsuit right here. So, was he right? Let's see. So, this is the initial news. We'll talk about some of the updates with the news later on, but we're just talking about, as it stands, the initial news coming out on Monday. California and 11 other states sue to block Paramount Warner Brothers Discovery merger. A group of a dozen state attorney generals filed a suit to block Paramount's $110 billion acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery, a long-anticipated litigation to stave off a merger despite receiving clearance from the Trump administration Justice Department. And again, guys, I'm going to try to be as apolitical in here as possible, but there may be quotes I read that talk about the president in a positive or negative light. I'm just reading the quote if that happens. The lawsuit filed in federal court in Northern District, California on Monday challenged the transaction as stifling competition for wide-release theatrical film distribution, anticipated big-budget blockbusters, and basic cable television channel licensing. And the focus on this aspect comes amid concerns that the merger would lead to widespread layoffs as the combined company grapples with its debt burden. Broader concerns have been on the impact on the creative community and the information environment, with Paramount set to own two legacy news brands, CBS and CNN, although that was not the subject of the lawsuit claims. And I just want to, get to the states who joined the lawsuit. So, stupid ad. And guys, you can read the full article later on, but also joining the lawsuit are the attorney generals of Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, and Washington. So, yes, you were right. You were right, Smackey. Oregon dropped out because they were joining the lawsuit, the combined lawsuit here.
I'm so glad that you remembered that, because I completely forgot.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, absolutely. I remember that because I was thinking about that. That was a really good point. And I was thinking about that when I was looking for the article. Wait, Smackey said this. Let's see. But, Yep. We know, guys. So it happened. I'm just glad this finally happened, because honestly, we've been waiting for it for so long, and it's just been a lot of talk, but now it's here. I guess, Smackey, what's your thoughts when you first? And again, right now we're talking about the initial news. Some of these developments later on we'll talk about later. But when the lawsuit first came out, what was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I was so happy, and I was glad that there at least were 11 states. Oh no, 12 states, because you got to include California, which again, when 11 states besides California, that's big news. When you take into account that it's California, right? California is like what, the biggest GDP earner, one of the biggest GDP earners in the world. And, you know, when you think Hollywood, you think of California. Like, there's no two ways about it. And the fact that there was so much misinformation that we're still getting, and there, especially like, you know, you've got the head of the FCC basically saying that what's his name, Bonta? I can never remember because it's such a strange last name.
Bonta is the Attorney General of California.
Right. The Carr is saying that he said this or that they have to give up CNN and then they'll be happy. And then Bonta is saying, I literally never said that. So it's just like, it's been nothing but misinformation from the actual FCC, which to me is just like, you guys are doing the AG, like you're doing their job for them. So it's like, they basically, it just seems like they're just giving them a slam dunk. So yeah, I'm thrilled with this.
I am too. I mean, I was annoyed how long it was taking, but, you know, Frank C was discussing with me privately, and honestly, I've thought of this too. In fact, I've kind of alluded to this, but I think there's a strategy to this delay, but I'm just glad that it's finally happening. Because one thing, you know, definitely too, you have to get time to build a case out, because if you do a lawsuit and and there's nothing to be found, the case is thrown out the window. So you don't want that. You want to have time to get this together. So, you know, I theorize that too. I mean, I'm just saying, blaming Netflix, yeah, I know they're denying it, but I'm sure they're involved in this. And if they are, I give them credit. So, but yeah, you know, we'll get into that later, J Marks. That's a really good point. And I do too, Curly Ray. But there's something else I'm also thinking too. But yeah, I think that it's finally good that this is happening. You know, it's and again, it's funny because like when Netflix won the bid back in December, it's all like, guys, stop celebrating too early. Netflix didn't win yet. No, it's not a done deal. They have to. They're trying to buy Warner Brothers. They didn't actually win it yet. But now with Paramount, they're like, Paramount won. It's a done deal. These same people. And then this happened. So it's like, maybe hold off on the victory, guys. Okay? Because I have my predictions, but no one knows how this is going to end. I mean, for all we know, I don't know, Universal might come in and buy like CNN and like half of the cable networks, and this Paramount will buy the other half, and Netflix will buy Warner Brothers in DC, but then HBO will go to Sony. I'm just making something up that probably won't happen, but
yeah, and the same people that you're talking about are basically saying, well, you know, Netflix, God, no, they buy competent lawyers. Paramount lawyers are, you know, they've got this in the bag because they're some of the best in the business. And it's like, you look at their arguments, and their arguments have effectively have been, well, we need to get this done by a certain time, and that's literally been their whole stance, and that's it.
That sounds like a them problem. Like, why should they get cheated on justice because they made a problem? Like, we'll talk about that. Hold on to that, because we'll get more into that. But Sin Havoc, I know Sin Havoc. I know I was making some sort of bizarre hypothetical to make a point. My point was that no one knows what's going to happen. Yeah, I'm sure that if anything, someone's going to be buying Universal, Sin Havoc. I know. But I think, you know, this is the real dawn of the delays. But what really got me was blackmail.
Yep.
Like, really? You're really going to okay, first of all, before I pull up this article, the fact that you're resorting to this already maybe shows that you don't have as much of maybe shows that you're a little more worried about this. Because, okay, before we get into this article, you're a studio in major debt right now. You're going to be in really big debt soon. So let's just say you get Warner Brothers. Okay, you own 2 lots right now. That's a lot of real estate.
Yep.
You have to move all that to another studio. The cost of moving. You're going to do that if you're not worried about this lawsuit.
Lawsuits.
Lawsuits. Yeah, you're right. Thanks.
Plural, because it's I think it's up to Sin Havoc was telling us, because there's also one in like Asia, and I think another one in another country that I keep forgetting about. So I think we're up to like 6 now.
Hold on to that point, DC Talk. Hold on to that point. So, and plus, also keep in mind, other states could be joining these. Mm-hmm. It's right now at 12, but it could turn into, I think Sin Havoc was saying like 24 soon. So I would love it if Illinois joined. So
yeah.
But anyways.
But with them threatening to move, like, okay, well, you go ahead and read.
Okay, but hold on to your point, though, because it sounded like you're about to cook.
Okay.
So, Tennessee is courting Paramount, and the studio is considering it. So, Tennessee is courting David Ellison's Paramount, the Hollywood Reporter learned. In a letter... Shoot. In a letter to Ellison on July 2nd, Tennessee Deputy Governor Stuart McWhorter, and I'm sorry I pronounced that wrong, urged the Paramount CEO to relocate the studio's corporate headquarters amid a rift with California over its $111 billion takeover of Warner Brothers Discovery. Our success is rooted in fiscal discipline, low taxes, predictable governments, and a steadfast belief that government should be a partner in private sector growth, stated the letter. Companies that choose Tennessee find more than a favorable business climate. They find a state committed to helping them succeed. Okay, well, first of all, different states are good for different things, okay? But I feel like for a major studio, you want to be near Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's like, I understand Tennessee wants some money. I'm not blaming Tennessee for trying, but to me, if you're not in Hollywood, if you're like, the major studio should be in Hollywood. But anyway, we'll get on reading. The invitation was delivered as California signaled its intent to block the deal. Paramount has extended what it perceived as an olive branch leading up to the filing of Monday's lawsuit by committing to produce 30 films per year with a 45-day theatrical window. Yeah, right. An offer that was ultimately rejected. And let me just see if there's anything else, because again, you can read the whole article, but it just... days before the lawsuit was filed, Semaphore reported that Ellison's advisors have been pushing the exec to leave California and shift production away from the state. I don't know. Like, let's see. Anything else in here that I want to read? Oh, Paramount. Okay. As Paramount Skydance writes its next chapter, Tennessee offers a compelling proposition, a state where creativity and technology coverage, where talent is developed intentionally, where innovation is embraced, McWhorter wrote. We welcome the opportunity to share a vision for how Tennessee could shape the future of Paramount Skydance and its talented team. Yeah, okay. So, in other words, we want to go for a state that's not leading a lawsuit. I guess you were about to say something. What were you going to say?
Well, okay, so like Sin Havoc was saying, like, they have the whole Elon Musk thing going there for like Tesla and Starlink and Neuralink. Like, my thing with him is, I think eventually something is going to go down with him. And again, this is. I'm trying to be bipartisan on this, but I think that eventually, just look at what's happening to Oracle right now. They've already lost over $400 billion in the last year, and you look at what's going on.
Oracle...
Go ahead.
Hold on to what you're going to say next, because I want to add this point. Oracle is how Larry Ellison has most of his money, isn't it? Or Papa David Ellison's dad.
Yeah.
Like, is that correct?
That's correct. That's he built Oracle, and He's the owner, CEO of Oracle, and all that.
Okay. Just want to throw that in there. Now go on.
And I think that when you take into account the reason why we have butthole COVID right now is because of like dirty water. And part of that is probably because we have AI data centers probably polluting water everywhere. Like there is a connection to that. And then you take into account a lot of our regulations were probably taken away because of people like Elon Musk. I think there are connections there. So that's my point when it comes to Elon Musk. Okay, now here's the other thing. When it comes to Tennessee was just ranked the worst state to live in the country.
Really?
Yes, because they have the least amount of protections for workers, the least amount of protections for minorities, women. Let's see. Did I say employees?
Yeah, you said employees.
Okay. There was the child care, education, something other else. Georgia was like right next to them. So that's another reason why we've lost all of our, filming here, and it's gone to London. So if we've already lost all of our filming, right, why would anyone want to then build into the state that's worse than us?
Because honestly, it may protection from employees, lacking of protection against employees, women, and minorities doesn't apply to David Ellison. That's not going to affect David Ellison at all. That
Right.
kind of stuff you mentioned never affects the high CEOs, the rich CEOs. That always affects the lower paid people. So that's why. But again, this is basically, to me, this is just David Ellison's power move. This is his attempted power move, being like, if you sue us, we're taking our business elsewhere. That's what this is to me. Because you're right. There's no benefit to them moving to Tennessee. And as you said, I think honestly, them moving to Tennessee would be bad for Paramount. Because it shows what I've always said. David Ellison doesn't make business decisions. He makes ego decisions. I've said, do not buy Warner Brothers. Do not put yourself in massive debt just to get Warner Brothers. Focus on the assets you have and work on growing your company with what you have right now. Don't put yourself in more debt just to say you were able to get Warner Brothers. Don't do that. And he did that.
Yep.
And now this. You're gonna move Paramount. And again, we'll just talk like they're gonna get Warner Brothers right now. You're gonna move WarnerMount to Tennessee just to stick it to the government. And again, I apologize for my viewers in Tennessee. I do apologize. This is just what I'm hearing, and I'm reporting news based on that.
Well, that's the thing that bothers me. I love going to Tennessee. I love Tennessee. Like Dollywood is fantastic. Like Knoxville is a wonderful place to go to. That hospital is a fantastic hospital. The people there are genuinely great people. It's not their fault. It's never the people's fault. It's I'm not going to say it because we already know what I'm thinking, right? It's not the people. It's the people in charge of the people, and like I hate to even go there, but it needs to be said because this is going to be the thing that I think a lot of us are connected. What am I trying to say? We're all sort of here connected via one thing, and I think that is Snyder, right? So my point is this, right? It's not going to be pack up the U-Haul and we're going to put in the studio lots because there's two of them, like you said, and they're just going to drive across country. No, it takes many, many years to build a back lot and then an actual multiple actual studio lots, and then you've got to have VFX houses, and then you've got to have apartment buildings for the actors or the crew to stay in, and then you've got to you know have all of these things in place before you can actually have a studio there. This is going to be a 5 to 10 year project. So what then my question is, you have to factor in all of that, and then you have to factor in $111 billion worth of debt. Sound stages too. There you go. Thank you. So yeah, exactly. Infrastructure, you've got planning, you've got debt, you've got loans, you have all of these things that you have to take care of. At what point, when are they going to bring back the Snyderverse, and how are they going to be able to afford it?
Well, I would say they would have to license it off to another company to afford it, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that at some point. But I would say option 2 for those of you who watch my birthday stream. But I love that you said that infrastructure thing, because think about all the superhero movies you watch where the city gets destroyed and they act like it's not a big deal. Everything's fine by like the next movie, everything's like back to normal. It's like, yeah, if only it would work that way. There's like
right.
The logistics we don't think about. And it's like, yeah. And by the time that, like, let's say that this lawsuit fails, okay? Do you really at this point, want to do all that cost of moving just to stick it to California? Is it even worth it at that point? Like, no. That's to me more like, this is one sign that tells me that the big people, the money people, are worried. And there's another sign that tells me that the money people are worried. David Zaslav sells $59 million worth of stock. Now, before we get into this article, I guess if you're confident that this deal is going to go through, that these lawsuits mean nothing, why are you selling your stock right now?
It's almost like it's going to be worth less soon.
And last time Zaslav sold a bunch of stock, do you remember when that was?
Pretty sure there was a big tentpole movie having a trailer coming out within the coming days.
Yes. Superman. That movie that ended up not doing great. So, yeah, DC talk, I'm sure. But see, that's the thing. You want to say the money people aren't worried about this. Well, this money person is very worried about this, apparently. But let's just read the article. So, David Zaslav sells $50 million more in Warner Brothers Discovery stock. As Paramount Skydance's deal to take over Warner Brothers Discovery is still pending, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav is continuing to cash out his stock in the company he has set to depart in the coming months. Zaslav filed to sell about 2.18 million shares of Warner Brothers Discovery stock, valued at $59.47 million, according to an SEC filing Monday. It was preset stock sale for the exchange that was triggered by Warner Brothers Discovery share price, which rose 1.9% Wednesday to 27.09 share. That comes after Zaslav filed to sell $114 million worth of Warner Brothers Discovery stock in March. Oh, wait, so maybe it wasn't Superman. It was the last time he sold it. Okay, I might have been wrong about that, guys. Sorry.
Well, it's last time we heard about it.
Yeah, okay. So, Batman was wrong in this one, guys. My apologies. But I just know he sold stock with Superman at some point. So, let's go back to the article here. So he sold stock, and So once Paramount Skydance's mega deal to buy Warner Brothers Discovery closes, Zaslav is poised to walk away with a golden parachute package that Warner Brothers Discovery this spring has pledged as being worth more than $500 million. Okay, worth more than $500 million. With the sale of Warner Brothers Discovery to Paramount, Zaslav has a net worth that has been estimated to be more than $1 billion. So, again, you can read more of this article later. You can on your own, but
how is the guy that's done nothing going to be
not
worth
surprised.
$1 billion?
But see, that's the thing. Like, I guess, Smack, what's your thoughts of Zaslav selling all this stock right now?
It's like you said, like this is just the sign, it's the exact same sign that he gave when, Superman trailer was coming out. And then I guess it's like that other article said that he was selling it when the Paramount deal was going through. It's just, if he was selling that much when the Paramount deal was going through, to me, that screams he didn't think either the deal was going to go through, or either he didn't think the deal was good for WB, because I don't remember him selling anything during the Netflix negotiation.
Mm-hmm. Yes. See, this brings up a really good point, a really good saying. Actions speak louder than words. Like, you can say all you want how Ellison, all these Paramount executives are like, we're not worried, this deal's going to go through, we're not worried. Yeah, no shit, they're not going to say, oh crap, this is bad. But when you see something like this is an action. And Zaslav didn't sell stock during the Netflix. So, yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, that's
okay. Yeah. So 5 months ago, he sold the 114 million worth. He didn't sell any during the Netflix thing. And in fact, when this whole thing went down, we found out that Trump bought a bunch of Netflix stock. So,
oh yeah, I remember that. You're right. Yeah, that's a good point. Why would he buy, like?
These are the money people that I keep hearing about that know what they're doing from these supposed experts, even though we all know they're shills. And like you say, their actions are the ones that we should be following and not their words.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And see, you got to look at the signs. You got to look at the clues here, people. Like, yes, Batman has been wrong before. I thought that Paramount wasn't going to get Warner Brothers at all pre-February or pre-end of February, pre my vacation at Universal, which I'm never, ever, ever going to forgive Zaslav, Ellison for doing this on my vacation. I bring that up a lot, but I'm still bitter about it. So, Ellison should give me a free trip to Universal. And guys, I'm kidding here. Don't take me seriously. But I am still pissed at him for doing that during my vacation at Universal. That I am serious about. So,
I mean, never say no to a free lunch. So,
I mean, hey guys, if Ellison saw my stream and found out I was pissed at him for that and offered me a free trip to Universal, I would not say no, guys. If he was willing to buy me a whole trip to Universal, I would definitely not say no. I would jump right on it. As long as I didn't have to sell my soul and praise the deal, because I'm not going to sell my soul, my integrity. But getting off a rant here, getting on. Yeah, I know, Sin Habit. I know. But my point is, pre my vacation to Universal, I was saying, right before I left, my pre-vacation stream with Curly Ray, I was saying that this deal's Paramount's not getting Warner Brothers, guys. It ain't going to happen. And then when I came back from vacation, I did a stream with Curly Ray saying, yeah, this happened. So I've been wrong before. Okay? Batman has been wrong, and Batman will admit when Batman is wrong. Yeah, no, I know, J-Mar. I know. So, but again, you got to look at the patterns, look at the clues, and like here's another thing that really got me. Paramount gained a victory against its own subscribers. Okay. Before I get into this article, why did you have to gain a victory against your own subscribers? Like, seriously. Just the fact that you were fighting your subscribers in the first place is not a good sign.
Yeah.
So, and it's so funny. Like, people saw this and they're like, "Oh my God! See, guys, the judge is ruling in Paramount's favor." Guys, this is one lawsuit. This is not the big one. Okay, just because one lawsuit has a not great case doesn't mean the other lawsuits don't either. So, Paramount Plus subscribers fail to block Warner Brothers merger as states will try again on Friday. A handful of Paramount Plus subscribers failed to win an order blocking the merger with Warner Brothers Discovery on Thursday. And just the date of this article is June 16th, so that puts us here. Okay, so that was Thursday. So the plaintiff sued in April, alleging that they had faced price hikes and risked losing viewing options as a result of the transaction. At a hearing on Thursday, Judge Arisol Martinez Algun, I'm sorry guys for butchering names, I butcher names all the time, denied their bid for a preliminary injunction. It's extraordinary preliminary relief, and plaintiffs failed to submit a single item of evidence in support of the motion, the judge said. Moreover, I have some serious doubts about plaintiffs' standing to pursue these antitrust claims. Paramount will face a harder test on Friday as a coalition of 12 attorneys are seeking a temporary restraining order to pause the merger. So, obviously, we'll get into what happened on Friday next, but, like, I guess, Smackey, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm trying to find, because I've been following somebody who's been actually going through the legalese of all this, and they've been pretty good about it. They were the ones that basically found out, like, that Batgirl got brought up in the case, how it just, got canceled out of nowhere for taxes. And they also found out how it goes into your next segment, so I won't bring that up. So I'm trying to find what they said about it. But I think effectively what they were getting at was, I think what this ultimately was just saying it's not going to be a matter of it happening right now. It's more about maybe they'll do everything all at once, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get what you're saying. It's the reason why I think I've heard about them, why they changed the judges too. It was something about, like, kind of trying to put it all together, but yeah, I'm not worried about the Netflix stock. Stocks go up and down all the time. Like, it's more when I see actual action, such as selling stock. Like, but that's another rant for another time. But to me, they gained an easy victory. This was an easy victory, but the fact that they had to fight this battle at all is a problem.
Yeah. Well, too, because that's the thing, is this is different, because there is a subscriber lawsuit, and then there's an investor lawsuit, and then you've got the states, the Asian lawsuit, and then I can't remember the fifth. And this is the subscriber one. So it's like, I think this one has just been delayed until, because I'm still trying to figure out what they did on Friday to what they said about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much information out there with these lawsuits. There's so many. I mean, that's why I'm not talking about every single lawsuit out there, but I'm talking. Yeah, there's a UK lawsuit too, right? Because, like, UK and European Union, as far as I know, both have not actually made final decisions yet. Like, there was an article saying, European Union to approve the merger, but I don't think that's actually happened yet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They got like Alan Cumming helping to go against this, and he's got like a ton of people with him. Like, it's the same thing we have over here, where we have like 6,000 people on the that signed that letter. With like Mark Ruffalo leading the charge. So now that we've got Alan Cumming over in the UK, it's like when you have this many people. Oh, the WGA, I forgot all about that. Thank you.
Yeah. Like, I mean, there's so many other lawsuits out there. So like this one victory, okay, fine, maybe it was a victory they shouldn't have had to have in the first place, because you should not be getting sued by your own subscribers, by your paying customers, the ones who actually are giving money to the shareholders, basically. But yeah, cool. You got this minor victory, cool. But here's the big one. And that's why I didn't pull up your comment yet, TJ, because July 22nd, that's the big day. So this was the result of Friday, is that July 22nd, which is a Wednesday, correct?
Believe so. Yep, that's this Wednesday.
Yep. It is Wednesday. So yeah. Well, I don't know, Son Havoc. I don't know what you do now, honestly, because I don't know who you really are. I don't really know who TJ is either. I don't think I've seen your face either. Or DC Talk. There's actually a lot of people whose faces I haven't seen, to be fair. So, but anyways. Judge says she'll rule on Paramount Warner Brothers Discovery. Nope, I am not interested in this advertisement. So, Judge says she'll rule by next week on emergency motion in state attorney general's challenge to Paramount Warner Brothers Discovery merger. So, the judge overseeing the state attorney general challenge to Paramount Warner Brothers Discovery did not issue a ruling on Friday on an emergency motion to pause the transaction, but she said she would do so by July 22nd. So, technically speaking, we could hear about it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. District Judge Arisol Martinez Algun, guys, I know I pronounced this wrong, I'm sorry, heard arguments from both sides in an 80-minute hearing in Oakland. The state's seeking a temporary restraining order that would bar the companies from closing the deal for up to 28 days. That would prelude to a further ruling on a preliminary injunction, which would perhaps pause the transaction indefinitely or until the legal process pays out. So, Jeffrey Kessler, representing Paramount, told the judge that the transaction will not close by July 22nd, which is Wednesday. Okay, yeah, it is Wednesday. That is around the time the European Union is expected to issue its decision on the $110 billion transaction. So, and again, guys, I apologize for the different numbers. The articles are switching between 110 and 111. Like I said, I think it's different rounding rules. But much of the hearing was devoted to argument on how narrowly the market for theatrical and cable distribution should be defined, as states claim that they had shown that the transaction on its face is illegal. So we'll get into, the different arguments. So I'm just going to skim a little bit. So basically, it's unlawful, but the AG claimed the AG claimed the merger will lead to higher prices and degraded quality, as combined Paramount and Warner Brothers will be able to extract a greater portion of the box office revenue from exhibitors. So they argued that the transaction, by pointing out market share, so basically they will have 27% of the box office for the state attorney generals and will control 30% of big budget theatricals for wide release. And when it comes to cable, the company would control more than a quarter of all basic cable channels by revenue per the lawsuit. The transaction not only will put two legacy film studios, which does not apply to Netflix, by the way, under the same corporate owner, but Paramount will have amassed a collection of basic cable outlets ranging from MTV and Nickelodeon to TNT and Cartoon Network, which also was not going to apply to Netflix, by the way. So people ask why Netflix was not a monopoly and why. So we'll get into all this later, but I'm sure you're all real people, guys, but oh, really? Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have started that. Maybe I shouldn't have started that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, but what's so funny? I heard if the states had a strong case, this wouldn't have been delayed. The judge would have made a decision right then and there. But if Paramount had a strong case, this wouldn't be delayed. The judge would have made a decision right then and there.
Right.
So, anyways, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm going over. I found what happened with the consumer thing, and apparently their lawyer was a bit underprepared, maybe, and plus it was over Zoom, so that could have been part of it. But as far as everything else is concerned, like I think, yeah, it's very possible that we could hear something by Monday or Tuesday, but at the same time, she may wait until Wednesday to wait for the UK as well. But that's something that I sort of hinted at earlier in the stream. I've been waiting until now. Because I've been reading bits and pieces from the actual court case, because you can actually go online and read the judge's comments, and you even made a comment, and you're like, that's not her problem, but she's basically said, like, like it's like, basically, you made your bed, lay in it, right? Like, it's not the taxpayers' responsibility. Because, like, you guys said, hey, we want to get this, we need our whole basis for getting this done is we need to have it done by a certain time, or else we're going to have to start paying ticker fees. You guys agreed to start paying the ticker fees. That's on you.
Well, don't say too much more. That's next.
Oh, that's next. All right, my bad. So yeah, but like with Wednesday, yeah, I'm looking forward to, like, I hope that she's just, with the way that she has been acting, she seems very fair, and that she realizes that this is absolutely ludicrous. That I've said this before, and I'm going to keep banging this drum until I bust the head out of it. It makes no sense for a smaller fish to swallow a bigger fish, to then swallow an even bigger fish. So yeah, Wednesday can't come soon enough. I want this to be done and over with. Not done and over with, but I want to have confirmation that, yeah, they're delaying this on Wednesday.
Yeah, same here. Because, and again, we'll talk more about, like, why Paramount's in a hurry with this. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad the judge is taking her time, because here's the thing: I want this done right. Because even if, let's say, the judge makes something a favor that we're rooting for, because again, it's no secret on this channel we're against Paramount.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm literally wearing a Netflix hat right now. I mean, yes, I am rooting for Netflix. I will admit that. But it's why I'm rooting for Netflix. But at the same time, I don't want the judge to block Paramount only for Paramount to be able to come back with a technicality of what the judge did on some issue. Right. Well, I mean, Sin Havoc, we'll talk about that, because we'll hold on to Sin Havoc's comment, because if that happens, well, then maybe it just won't happen at all. But yeah, and actually we're going to be talking about that as well, because that's another good point. So, I mean, yeah, was I hoping there would be an answer on Friday? Absolutely. But I'd rather judge to take her time, get this done right, instead of get this done fast. Because this is too important. And I will say this goes both ways, even if it's what I want or if it's what I don't want. I want the judge to get this right.
Yeah, so, and that goes back to the subscriber complaint. She was willing to give them a chance to resubmit their injunction request because of the Zoom issue. So it's like it's not like she's unfair, right? But it still got rejected afterwards. So again, she's going to give you the time, and she's going to be, impartial and fair no matter what.
Yes, exactly. Even if it's, and we'll see. If she, we find out Wednesday that she closes this deal, it will be disappointing. Absolutely. And I might suspect that there was some bribery. Not going to lie. But I hope that's not the case. Because, again, I don't want to see 40% of major studios merging.
No.
We didn't, let me just go with two big differences with Netflix. Netflix was not going to merge two major theatrical studios, nor was Netflix going to get the cable. Netflix didn't have cable channels before, and they weren't going to get more cable channels now because they weren't buying all of Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers Discovery, I should say. So if people need to be reminded of the difference, I might have to do a whole stream on that, because I feel like I'll do a whole stream on the difference between Netflix and Paramount, because a lot of people don't seem to understand basic things, but that's a whole nother way. So, and that's a good point. Once the paste leaves the tube, can it be put back into the tube? Like, I don't get too far into this, but I know there's some stuff with Ticketmaster and Live Nation right now where they're trying to sue, I guess the merger wasn't lawful or something. I don't, but yeah, I think, to that point though, yeah, it's harder to sue that. So you want to take your time, because once something's done, it can't always be undone, because once you clear, you own the assets. You can't say, hey, you can't own these assets. Well, you gave it to us. At this point, you let us buy it with our money. So at this point, you're stealing. So, well, yep, that we know. DC talk, that we know. So, but, here's the big issue. Paramount V Time, because I like what you said, Smackey, because Paramount made this deal to say, hey, this needs to be done by September 30th. It is not the judge's responsibility to make sure this is done on time. If you made that promise, you were confident that there wouldn't be any scrutiny with this deal. If there was scrutiny with this deal, that's on you, not the taxpayers, not the judge, not the state attorney generals. That's on you and you alone.
Exactly.
So you don't get to, even though I kind of suspect that the attorney generals did the lawsuit when they did, specifically to run out the clock. It's my whole point with Thrawn's fuel supply, #Justice for Fives. Again, Star Wars Rebels. Grand Admiral Thrawn had this big plan to have these TIE defenders with shields. And it was going well. The project was going well until one of his subordinates destroyed the fuel supply, which a logistical issue like that is what stopped the project, not just defeating Thrawn directly. So, yeah, I know, Sin Havoc. I know. Trying to pull up your comment, but StreamYard's being slow. But anyway, let's get to this article. So, time isn't on Paramount's side. A court on Friday considered whether to issue a temporary restraining order that would freeze the Warner Brothers deal for a short period. Paramount still intends to close the deal by the end of the quarter. Yeah, well, of course they intend to. For months, Paramount has barreled towards closing its $111 billion takeover of Warner Brothers Discovery by July. It filed paperwork for the Justice Department to bless the deal in December, even as Netflix appeared to come out on top of the bidding war. So far, it's secured green lights from over a dozen countries. Those designs were stymied when a coalition of 12 states led by California sued to block the deal, likely putting an end to its planned closing date. The lawsuit pushes for the forefront the risk of Paramount being forced to pay a hefty fee to Warner shareholders for the delay. Paramount's frustration with the timing of the lawsuits were on display during a hearing on Friday. Whether the court should issue a temporary restraining order preventing the studio from consuming the transaction. U.S. District Judge, I know I'm going to butcher again. You can see it on here. said she'd issue a decision by next Wednesday. So, in what could be a signal that she'd incline to grant the state's emergency motion, the judge stressed at one point that Paramount conceded it wouldn't suffer any harm if the deal was frozen for a short period. Oh, that's interesting. After a decision on the temporary restraining order is issued, a mini trial will follow whether the court should hand down a preliminary injunction preventing Paramount from integrating or commingling assets and operations with Warner's until the case is decided. If granted, there will be a major financial repercussion for the David Ellison-led company. Under the terms of the deal, Warner's shareholders are owed roughly $650 million per quarter or $6.9 million per day if the deal isn't done by September 30th. For Paramount, the time crunch is a key issue. If it's offered not to close the acquisition for up to a month if the court agrees to schedule preliminary injunction proceedings at the end of August in order for a decision to be rendered before the ticking fee is triggered. The states have asked the court to start those proceedings next year. So, interesting. But the state, so, you can see it, but basically...
I just sent you what the judge said in response to what Paramount was basically saying about all this.
Okay, so while I pull that up, what's your thoughts on that, Smackey?
I think it's hilarious that they are saying out of one side of their mouth, oh yeah, it's fine if we have to pay the ticker fee, while on the other side of their mouth, they're like, God, I really hope we don't have to pay that ticker fee. Like that's basically what they're doing. And you'll see what I mean, like, once you pull that up.
So, let's see. The material financial consequences of Paramount's agreement to pay Warner Brothers shareholders ticking fee every day past September 30th that the merger does not close are consequences of the defendant's own making and in any event could be modified by the defendant's mutual agreement. Defendant's private agreement to allocate the risk of an antitrust review is not, okay, I'm sorry, I cannot get this stupid thing out of the way.
Okay, but that schedule is insane too. That the whole thread is incredibly insightful, but yeah, the highlighted part is basically like her being like, this is ridiculous.
Well, yeah, I want to read in like this next part too that I'm able to see now thanks to changing screens. Review is no basis for denying plaintiff states' rights to opportunity to present their case on the merits after a full and fair discovery. Yes, exactly. And hold on, let me just share this next part here. Oh, wait, is this? No, this is not. Okay, hold on, I pulled up the wrong one. Let me try pulling up the right one. Okay, I swear this thing just switches which one it is. It's like whichever one I'm picking is the wrong one. What? Okay, I'm just gonna close this one right now because I legit think it's just picking the opposite one of what I have pulled up. Okay, here's what I want to read. Okay, more fundamentally, the defendants provide no opportunity for the plaintiff states to seek discovery from defendants. Despite lack of documented discovery depositions, plaintiff states are expected to exchange witness and exhibit list by August 30th. So, yeah, I mean...
No, August 3rd.
Oh, hold on. I read
Even
fast
worse.
sometimes, guy. Okay, witness and exhibits led by August 3rd. Okay, bail on Batdan's part. Bail on Batdan's part. Thank you, Smackey.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
anytime.
By August 3rd, defendants' proposed preliminary hearing would begin in 5 weeks on August 18th. Defendants' schedule is unreasonable, unfair, and unprecedented. Because here's a point I would like to make. What if David Ellison, I mean, just in theory, let's just say the judge should just consider what Paramount did and consider Paramount's deadline. What if every company decided on a deadline just to make sure the deal, so that no one could challenge the merger? Like, what if, let's say, let's say Netflix. You know what? I'm going to say Netflix just to make a point, because the rules apply both ways. Let's say that Netflix wanted to buy both Disney and Warner Brothers. Let's just say that they did that, right? I think everyone would agree that'd be a big problem. What if Netflix said, hey, you know what? We're going to pay a ticker fee of $1 billion. And again, guys, I'm making up a random number. $1 billion a day to shareholders for every day this deal does not close within a month. Then should all countries and everyone be obligated to close the deal within that time frame? Just because of Netflix's choices?
Nope. It's not how these things work. And I just sent you what Paramount sent for what they wanted the schedule to be.
Okay, hold on. And yes, and Havoc, I know reading is not always my strong suit, but I admit when I mess up. So plaintiffs produce expert lead backup for lead decoration July 15th, 2026. Plaintiffs that feels like that's not a lot of time looking at this.
Like, yeah, like they literally wanted this case to start 4 days ago, and they wanted it all to be done by the end of next month.
And guys, I'll post Smackey's post in the chat, or not the chat, the description after the stream is over. So if you're watching this on replay, it should be in the stream or in the description.
Yeah, this person has been incredibly helpful.
Yeah, so thank you to Laurel, that's the name, at Balance Crafting, for providing this information. So yeah, like, it is not the responsibility of the state attorney generals. Okay, Paramount, you made your decision. You have to lie. You made your bed. Now lie in it. If you provide an unreasonable time frame to close the merger, because didn't Disney and Fox take 2 years to close?
It took 20-something months. The Activision Microsoft deal took 21 months. So yeah, both of them were close to 2 years. And these guys want to be done in a month and a half.
Okay, so Disney Fox took exactly 15 months. Really, 15 months. Okay.
It seemed longer.
Okay. How long did it take Microsoft Activision to close? But still, they want to be done within half a year. That's still not a lot of time. Microsoft, exactly 20 months to close Activision.
I was off by a month, but still, and with that deal, all the games still come out on all the other systems. It's not like you're not getting an Activision game on a PlayStation or a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. See, that's it. But again, let's be honest. Is Microsoft and Activision anywhere near as big as Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery?
From a money standpoint, they are, but when it comes to movies, there's only 5 or 6 movie studios this big, right?
Yeah. Not to mention streaming services, which I know Netflix and Warner Brothers also did have, but I'm listing multiple factors here. Streaming services, cable networks, which Netflix and Warner Brothers didn't have an issue of under that agreement. There's a lot of things that we're worried about here with that. So why should that take 6 months when these other deals took longer and were less of a threat?
Doesn't make any sense to me. Especially...
Well, I think Oh, go on.
No, I was just going to say, especially when you have the head of the FCC literally lying to the public about what the Attorney General of California is saying.
Yep. So, guys, this is Paramount's responsibility. And I think, this is what I think is going to kill the Paramount deal more than necessarily getting blocked. I think it's going to be David Ellison can't afford all this stuff, especially because you mentioned Larry Ellison may not be able to bail him out. So David Ellison may have no choice but to say, hey, you know what? Fine, forget it. We're not doing this. Or maybe not buy as much of Warner Brothers Discovery and pay less money. Because they're already going to be in major debt right now. So yeah, well, I guess that ain't happening right now. I mean,
yeah, when your dad loses almost $500 million inside of a year, it's kind of hard to ask him for money. Not $500 million, $500 billion, excuse me.
Yep. I mean, my God, if I lost that much money, well, I would be a homeless bum living on the street at that point, having to, because I don't have, a tenth of that much money.
Yeah.
So,
no kidding.
But yeah, so this is on Paramount, guys. This is on Paramount. I don't want to hear any, oh, this isn't fair to Paramount. No, Paramount made an unreasonable expectation and expected everyone else to pay for it. That's on no one but Paramount. That's on no one but David Ellison. Because David Ellison was desperate to get Warner Brothers and risked tanking his whole company to get it. Tanking the whole company to get it. So, again, Netflix was about business. David Ellison was about ego. So, now, this one was really interesting. So, WBD potentially being sold into parts. So, do you know the scooper DC's Nightmare?
Yeah, I've heard some things.
Same here. And I want to just clarify my stance. The only scooper I will ever have 100% trusted was Mikey Sutton.
Yep. Same here.
That being said, though, guys, that does not mean I think every other scooper is a liar. I am not saying that. What I'm saying is that I don't know, so I treat it like they could be telling the truth or they could be lying. But DC's Nightmare, what was interesting is that his scoop was getting reported by Cosmic Book News. And regardless how I feel about that other website, the fact that, two things are coming together, I find interesting. And if this does happen, I want to make sure that I give DC's Nightmare his flowers. Or her flowers. Or their flowers. Whoever's in charge of that account. Because, hold on, I forgot to actually pull up the link. So, and I found this really interesting because this will actually play into something that I'm going to bring up later. So, this is quote treated from a Cosmic Book News. Warner Brothers to be sold off into pieces and cease to exist if Paramount merger fails, insiders say. And DC's Nightmare is exclusive, and here's the screenshot. It could be anyone. Paramount has been making a lot of moves recently, and this is dated from September 5th of last year. Universal seems like a potential favorite with Nolan being there. Well, now they're split up, so that won't happen. But again, he reported this back in September. Things change. Amazon, Netflix, Apple TV are all strong contenders. Well, yeah, we know Netflix. It is possible Warner Brothers is broken up and sold off into pieces to numerous entities. So, yeah, which we'll kind of talk about. Next topic will be why I really wanted to share this. And again, I mean, yeah. I mean, and hey, if that happens, I'll give them a chance. Here's my thing with scoopers, guys. I treat it like they could be telling the truth or they could be lying. Okay, because I don't like to clown on Scoopers because, I mean, Ellison Havoc doesn't seem to trust him, but me personally, I don't know this guy, this person. They could absolutely be lying. They could be telling the truth. I have no idea. So I'm going to go into this like both could be true, or he could just have, or they could have wrong information. I don't know. Anything is possible, guys. And I hope if DC's Nightmare is watching this that they don't take any offense to this. I just don't know. So I'm not going to treat it like absolutely one of these things are true.
I have reasons for not trusting him, but I'll tell you backstage.
Fair enough. But the only reason I'm sharing and this one in particular is because the fact that it's kind of like coming up again with Comic Book News, who I'm also not a big fan of. I did find this kind of interesting, this possibility, because there's one reason why I've been thinking about this myself too. This is the other reason why I shared this, because I personally been thinking about this myself. Because we talked about my crazy out there theory.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, again, I do think that Netflix wants Warner Brothers. I do think that. I think they're working with the state attorney generals. But right now, a new opportunity came up. Universal is spinning off from Comcast. Netflix doesn't know what's going to happen with Warner Brothers. And personally, I think Universal would be a good investment for Netflix too. I still rather they get Warner Brothers, but I have to be open to this possibility. So Netflix may not be able to buy all of Warner Brothers, but they may be able to get some of Warner Brothers, like DC, HBO. Mm-hmm. So, I guess, what's your thought about the possibility of Warner Brothers Discovery being sold into parts?
I mean, I think that's going to end up happening regardless of what ends up going down. Like, I think that even if, so like, let's say Paramount doesn't get them, I think the split's going to happen because that was supposed to happen, next year anyway? So...
well, the split's canceled. Oh, wait. Which split are you talking about again?
WB and Discovery.
Well, yeah, that's canceled now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, once the Paramount deal happened, that went bye-bye.
Oh, okay. Because, see, my thing is, like, I think I'm like 90% sure the Paramount deal isn't going to go through. So it's like, I think once that's off the table, I think they're just going to go back to doing the split. And then I think it's going to be a matter of figuring out what is going to be WB going forward. And then it's a matter of, okay, WB is these film properties and HBO, right? And potentially like Cartoon Network. At least that's my hope.
Well, so basically what the split was basically Warner Brothers streaming and studios, they were going to get like the shows, like production companies of Cartoon Network. Whereas Discovery Global was going to get the cable channel itself. Like how with the Fox Disney split, or the Fox split into Disney, Disney got the production companies that own The Simpsons, Family Guy, and that's why they're under Disney's control, but they don't own the Fox channel. So that was going to happen with Cartoon Network, basically. And I'm sorry. I do have to say one thing. You're right, Sin Havoc. You are right. You also said this, too. A year ago, I do remember you saying Warner Brothers Discovery is going to get sold into parts. I do remember you saying that. That's like, see, that, like I'm saying, normally I'm not going to share scoopers on this channel. The only reason I kind of made an exception this time here is because I predicted this, and Sin Havoc was also saying this too. Like, there's been enough other people predicting this that I just thought it was interesting.
Well, but see, what I'm saying is, like, I think a massive chunk of Discovery will go to like one group, right? And then like CNN will go to one group, and then like a massive chunk of WB will go to one group, and that'll include HBO, DC, whatever film IPs they want, right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so, like, I do think it is possible that this could be sold into parts. Like, I mean, Well, also, too, let's be honest here. If Netflix gets Warner Brothers Discovery, or Warner Brothers, they didn't want all of the WBD. So, I mean, technically speaking, if Netflix gets this, technically speaking, it is being sold into parts.
Yeah.
Because they're not getting all of Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yeah.
So they don't want all of Warner Brothers Discovery. So, like, again, that's why I found this kind of interesting. Again, I'm not normally going to promote scoopers on my channel anymore. It's because I don't know them, right? I don't know. And I don't want to throw shade at people if they're telling the truth, nor do I want to prop up people who are lying. Which I know seems like a cop-out, guys, but I'm being honest on my channel.
No, I think it's better to stand on your morals than possibly prop up somebody who's just there to take advantage of people.
Yeah, exactly. And again, if DC's Nightmare is watching this, again, I just don't know who you are. That's the only reason I'm taking this kind of maybe you're telling the truth, maybe you're lying. But I do want to give you your flowers if this comes true. Just like I want to give Sin Havoc his flowers if this comes true. So, but yeah, that's why I do kind of think that it will be sold into parts, because either there's my crazy out there theory where Netflix gets Universal and DC separately, or Warner Brothers Discovery is going to split. So, yeah, Frank C, but like what I'm saying too is that Netflix itself will only buy a certain portion. I'm sure that, personally, if Paramount didn't interfere with Netflix, I do think the other Discovery Global was going to be sold too. Even if it's like CNN and other stuff, but I just want to kind of talk about the possibility of it being sold into parts. That's more what this is. I'm not exactly what Cosmic Book News said. I don't know. But I'm just more interested in talking about this possibility of it being split into parts.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying too. It's just I'm thinking about when other companies have been split into parts, and I'm using video game companies as an example. It's I'm trying to think of one that was recent. There's a company called Embracer that bought up a bunch, so they got the Lord of the Rings IP for video games. So they got all the Lord of the Rings games, and then they got Darksiders, and I think I started to say Homelander, but it's not Homelander. It's some sort of space sim game. But the point is when they bought all of these IPs from a studio that closed, they sort of picked and choose what they wanted, and they got all of those, and then another company got the ones that they wanted from that company that closed, right? And I think that's what's going to end up happening with WB.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would prefer that enough of Warner Brothers exists so that it's its own company, what was going to happen with streaming and studios. And again, guys, I know I'm listing multiple possibilities here. That's because there's multiple things that could happen. No one knows how this is going to end, guys. Let's just be abundantly clear. I have my more rational theory, which is that it's going to split off and Netflix is going to get the streaming studios as planned, or my crazy out there theory, which is crazy and out there, but is also a possibility of what I think could happen. So, anything else you want to say about the possibility of this being split into parts?
No, I mean, yeah, I think at this point, I think it's either that or they go crawling back to Netflix,
Yeah, which, I mean, technically speaking, again, if they crawl back to Netflix, it will still technically be sold into parts because they'll get the streaming and studios business, and the other assets that Netflix doesn't want will be sold to other companies. Heck, maybe Paramount can even get away buying CNN. Who knows?
As much as that would suck, yeah.
So, Sin Havoc, I haven't watched all the Zack Snyder, Frank Miller event from last night. I have not had time to, because I know Sky posted it on his channel today. I've watched about 40 minutes. So I have not had time to really watch that yet. So DC Talk, you're talking about to buy or to sell? Like, is someone going to buy NBC Universal, or is NBC Universal going to buy something? And I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about that, Sin Havoc. I do. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's goofy. That's
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that backstage. But see, but this is what I like. Again, the reason why I mainly brought this up is this gets into my crazy out there theory. Because, again, Netflix doesn't know what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen yet. I do think Netflix would prefer to get Warner Brothers. But let's just say that they're not going to wait for the girlfriend. It's like when your ex breaks up with you, you're not pursuing your ex constantly. You're looking for new opportunities with another person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying there is a possibility that Netflix is not going to wait for Warner Brothers to become available. Netflix has always struck me as a now kind of company. Like, they'll play the long game if they need to, but there's a good opportunity now that they think rivals Warner Brothers, they're going to go for it. That's what Netflix strikes me as. So that's why I'm saying the only thing to me that would stop Netflix from getting Warner Brothers is if they buy Universal. Because I do think that is possible still. I still think that is possible. But now, with what Sin Havoc has said last year and what DC's Nightmare is saying now, if Warner Brothers is sold into parts, I still think I'm going out there with my crazy out there theory. Again, I have two theories. The rational one, which is Netflix gets Warner Brothers streaming in studios as planned, or mostly as planned, or Netflix gets Universal and DC separately. I feel like if Warner Brothers is sold into parts, and Netflix will get Universal, but then they'll also get DC. Because sold into parts, and they would have Universal, DC is a good value IP. And personally, I'm just saying, if Netflix gets Universal and DC separately, I think that's just as good for Netflix as Warner Brothers streaming in studios. Because I'm biased because I love theme parks. But what's your thoughts, Smackey?
It still remains to be one of my favorite theories, especially since I guessed it. But maybe I'm biased in that regard.
Fair enough.
But no, I love Universal. In terms of theme parks, I think I talked about it on your channel where I love their customer service. It's they go above and beyond there, and their theming is just really great. And I think there's a ton of potential there for Netflix, especially if the whole fire sale ends up happening. There's so much potential when it comes to theme parks, when it comes to combining theme parks and Netflix houses. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've seen it, but I know there used to be Universal video games, but Netflix, they keep wanting to get back into gaming. And I think they've only released one game this year. I'd have to ask Curly Ray, but if you got DC and Universal, you have so much power, or not power, but so much possibility there. It's just you could do so much with it, and yeah.
And again, I'm just saying, now it's reported that Warner Brothers will be sold into parts, trying to steal. Well, I'll put it like this, Sin Havoc. If Netflix gets Warner Brothers streaming in studios, I would say they should go for Six Flags. Because I love Six Flags. In fact, I'm going on a little road trip to Kings Island next week, which is owned by Six Flags, the new Six Flags, with Cedar Fair and Six Flags merged. So I would love for Netflix to come in and save Six Flags. but this may not be one of those. Like Universal, I feel like Netflix gets Universal. They should just leave their people in charge. Like leave Universal's people in charge. Don't touch it. Just let, other than maybe incorporating your IP into the parks. But other than that, don't touch it. Six Flags, on the other hand, I love Six Flags. Maybe you might need to do a little more interference on that one, though.
Yeah. And see,
So,
the mini golf thing, like right there, that has been like, this is a conversation I've had with Cozy and Cam. I think one of the things that's missing in this country, I'm going to try not to go on a rant, but like, you know, people have been talking about it for a long time, but like the lack of a third place, you know, because we have work and home, we don't really have that third place anymore where we can just go and hang out. I think Netflix is like the one company that is in the prime position to build that sort of place that you can go to after a long day and you can just relax and hang out with friends, especially since, as far as I'm aware, to go into a Netflix house is free. It's just, it costs money to do
there.
Yeah. But
Like,
there's free activities though. But like to do like, you know, the VR or to buy things or to eat, that costs money. But you can go watch Netflix stuff for free if you want to.
Well, it's like going to the mall, which I think the Netflix houses are at malls right now. Like going to the mall is free. It's just like if you want to buy anything at a mall or eat food at a mall, you have to pay money.
Right.
But I mean, the stuff does have to cost money, or else we can't get it. But yeah, I really wanted to revisit the Crazy Out There theory now that like I'm just saying, talk about Warner Brothers being sold into parts right now. The fact that people are talking about that, and again, with some of these people, a broken clock is right twice a day, and it's the fact that it's being reported multiple times, and that Sin Havoc himself has said this. I just think it's really possible that Netflix gets Universal and DC separately. And if that happens, well, the Snyder fans who wanted the Snyderverse at Netflix, we win. Not only do we win, we also get DC at the Universal theme parks, which, hey, I do love Warner Brothers. I would miss Warner Brothers as a company, but... Well, I would say if they get Universal, the biggest one will end up being at Universal City Walk.
Just
as it stands right now,
imagine an Arkham horror house.
Oh yeah. A lot of possibilities, guys. And again, like I said, there's... Fair enough, Jamar. Fair enough. And again, and like I said, guys, I'm normally not going to cover scoopers like this because I don't distrust some of these guys. I just don't completely trust them because, again, I don't know who they are. Other people, maybe I don't really trust, but I just find it interesting when multiple people are reporting the same story, especially it's one I predicted. I'm biased like that, and I'll admit that. But anything else you want to say, Smackey?
No, I'm gonna keep championing this theory until it becomes reality. What do they call that? Manifesting? Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Thanks, you man. Thank you. And hey, if it doesn't, and guys, if Netflix ends up getting Warner Brothers as a whole, like streaming studios, we'll say, I'm happy with that. But if this happens too, that could also be exciting. So we'll see. But again, the fact that that the story out there is being split into parts, my Crazy Out There theory is looking a little less crazy out there. So, coming up on this channel, well, who knows? I mean, last time not the last time, but the time before that, we had to do 2 streams in a row because the day that we did a stream, like right after an update came out. So who knows? I may have to be emailing Smackey and be like, "Hey man, can you stream tonight? Now that this update just came out and our stream is already outdated again." So we'll see. But
Light up the bad signal.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Anything coming up that you want to talk about?
This is going to be a busy week for me. I got to have an injection in my back, so and it's my mom's birthday, so yeah, I got to deal with that. But yeah, like I mentioned, I ordered a microphone to help deal with the webcam, and should hopefully get that situated so I can get back into streaming. And yeah, once that's squared away, I'll have it on my Twitter profile. And I tend to pop up on Cozy's stuff, and yeah, whenever you invite me, I'm always down. And once again, I always appreciate it. It's always fun.
I always appreciate having you on. I really enjoy our discussions, and yeah, this was a fun stream tonight. And coming up on this channel, I'm not gonna lie, the only thing I can really guarantee is that part 2 of my discussion with Curly Ray back in June about the whole Dan Lin, Ted Sarandos allegedly contradicting each other. Well, I made great progress on editing today, and I have about less than 5 minutes left to edit, so I'm hoping I can get that out this week. Other than that, though, I will cover the merger updates as it happens, which you should see something happen this week, so we'll see what happens. As for Oppenheimer and the Zack Snyder interview with Frank Miller, I cannot guarantee that because, I'm busy this weekend, and then I'm going to Kings Island next week for a little road trip. So
hell yeah.
I will not have time to do a lot of stuff this week because I will have to get ready for my trip. Because I'm driving in the car for 6 hours, guys. There's some stuff I have to do to make sure that my car is safe to drive that far. So, but yeah, there's a lot of great stuff. What did I say?
I thought you said Odyssey, but I have terrible hearing.
I have a lot on my mind, guys. I meant to say I would love to say I'm going to do a spoiler review on the Odyssey, and I might have said Oppenheimer. But I meant the Odyssey, guys. So thank you for correcting that. I meant spoiler review on the Odyssey.
Oh, okay.
I did say Oppenheimer. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's been a long stream, but a fun one. So anyway, guys, if you like this stream, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more unique takes, interesting thoughts, and great discussions such as these. And on that word, any final words, Smackey?
Have a safe trip, and like the great poet Leonington says, bang.
Have a bat-tastic day.